you know, this forum is being co-hosted along with the AIA of Gulf Coast, which is a professional association of architects and related people, and the DSA and the DSCA. So this is an interesting question that I'd like to bring forward, Mr. Brody. What role do you believe architects and planners should play in the continued visioning and shaping of our built environment? Do you believe that city staff and public opinion are enough to guide the future of our city, or are they not mutually exclusive?
No. Architecture is a 1,000-year-old profession. Planning is incredibly important to a city and its growth. This is so critical because we're talking about a new zoning code, and in the zoning code, really the devil is in the details. How detailed do we want to get? Do we want to design every single building that's built here on out in this community, or are we going to let professional architects, artists do their work? This goes back to the core of who we are. Sarasota is an art appreciative community, okay? The built environment is one of the oldest examples of that kind of art, of producing art. And we have to let architects do their job. I'm an attorney. If I wanted the public to weigh in on every single one of my cases about what we were going to do and what we weren't going to do, I would be out of a job very quickly. Architects is an ancient profession. It's a profession that is particularly important for Sarasota. Why? Because we're not Lakewood Ranch. If we wanted the same design on every city street and every strip mall, you go to Lakewood Ranch. If you want diversity and you want a built environment that's stimulating and you want houses and buildings that are intriguing, you come to Sarasota.
I was tempted to say something trite, but I won't. So, opinion is great. We can all have an opinion about our favourite sports team or how to mix the perfect martini, but if I have an opinion about building a property and pour it out on a piece of paper, it's somewhat likely to fall down. It's also a question of aesthetics and taste. I really like most of the new buildings that have been built downtown. I think that they're considerably and demonstrably more attractive and more functional than some of the older buildings, which I won't name because you might live in them. But you know, some of the other buildings down here aren't terribly attractive. You know, the 60s and the 70s type stuff. We know what we're up against. And I think that you know, regeneration and improvement is a large part of what America's about. You know, we don't have, for the most part, 200- and 300-year-old buildings, but we can reinvent ourselves, and that's where architects come in. I think that you know, within the constraints of the code, we should trust also the market, because ugly stuff won't sell. You know, what would be the point in building something that was quirky and strange, and people are not going to move into it? So as far as architecture is concerned, clearly and demonstrably, I think that most of the new stuff and some of the new stuff that's about to come out of the ground, I think you'll be very impressed with. I would actively want to live in them myself. So yeah, we don't want to be Lakewood Ranch. You know, the funny thing about Lakewood Ranch always freaks me out. You know, you drive there, I don't know how they find their way home because they all look the same.